not going to share real long tonight, but I'm going to share something with you that the Lord's been speaking to my heart. I was thinking about, even why do I share what I share when I share it? It's not because you need to hear it, it's because I need to hear it. If there's a message that, like here we have a message right here from this weekend that says, don't forget to say thank you. Or this last week before that, don't forget God can do miracles. Or don't forget, like this coming weekend, is to encourage one another. It's because I need to hear it. And so this evening, I guess I need to hear this. I need to hear a message about finding freedom. How many of you would say America, what is America known for? If you think of America, if America was known for something, it would be known for what? Freedom. It'd be known for freedom above anything else, above all other things. Freedom is going to be the number one thing that America is known for. It's said that America is all about freedom. As a matter of fact, I think this is really interesting that not only is America founded on freedom, but religious freedom is it's found in the first statement in the first sentence of the First Amendment. But, as much as America is a free nation, and people were to say America is all about freedom, I would ask you this. Why do you suppose, I was thinking about this today, why do you suppose America is the number one thing that people would say about America it's freedom? If you think of America, freedom is the thing that comes to your mind. What is it? Why is it that people think that? Does anybody, I think it's because it's what we fight for. How many of you know that it's what we fight for is what you're known for? What you fight for, what you stand for, what you're going about doing. Did you know that we are all over the world right now fighting for freedom? Influencing people, being the influence for freedom for those that don't have an influence, that don't have a voice. That's what America's known for. And I was thinking about, what freedom is, and I was thinking about this. Sometimes I need to find freedom. America is looking for freedom for people. It's all about being free, and we have a set of bylaws. We have an amendment that just like we have as Christians, we have an amendment. We have a set of policies and things that allows us and tells us what we have. Just like just like all the amendments, just like the Bill of Rights gives us our freedoms. This too gives us our freedoms. And I thought, here's what freedom means. It's this: the power to act, speak, or think without hindrance or restraint. And here's what it seems like happens quite often in my life. It seems like I don't act, I don't speak, I don't think without restraint very often. How many of you ever feel like the things that restrain you? I'm going to read out of here, Matthew 6. Many times this is what restrains me. This is what I think about. This is what holds me back. It's not called freedom. It's called bondage. It's called fear. It's called this. I tell you, therefore, stop being perpetually uneasy, anxious, and worried about your life. How many of you have ever been there? How many of you there could raise your hand and say you have been there lately, where you're like, man, what about tomorrow? What's going to happen with that? Did you know that Christ came to set us free? It is for our freedom, it is for us to be able to do this, to think, to act, and to speak unhindered. That's what God's greatest desire for you and me is, that we would be able to speak, act, and think unhindered. That's what His greatest is, that we would not be uneasily and perpetually uneasy, anxious, and worried about our life, what we would eat or drink, or about our body, what we'd put on. He said, is life not greater in quality than food, and the body more than clothing? He tells us to look at the birds of the air, and I love that because he says just what would really help you to be free, first of all, would be to get your eyes off yourself. Look up at the birds. Look at something other than yourself. And he says that they don't gather, they don't store, and guess what? I take care of them. He says, which of you taking a thought can add anything to yourself? He says, look at the lilies, look at the flowers. Again, get your eyes off of right here and get your eyes outward. And I was thinking, as we keep on going, he goes on to tell us this. It says, but I tell you, don't take a thought what you're going to eat or what you're going to drink. This is verse 31. Or what you're going to be clothed. But instead, verse 33, seek the kingdom of God, or be minded about what God's minded about. Be thinking about what God's thinking about. And he said, all these things will be added to you. So I was thinking about just all of that, and how I like finding freedom. Anybody like finding freedom? Finding that place that, let me tell you, a beach can't do it. We just got back from the beach for a couple days. We went to Louisiana, and then we said, you know what, we don't have to come back. We're gonna go run over to the beach. You know, a beach cannot find freedom. It can give you a moment of just maybe, did you know Facebook doesn't find freedom? Did you know Instagram is not freedom? It may cause you to go comatose. It may cause, it's almost a numbing agent, but it's not finding freedom. You know, this Bible says that when you know the truth will set you free. The only thing that produces freedom in your life is truth. The only thing. But how do you, so I was thinking about this. How do you know something? What's the fastest way for you and I to know something? If I want to know something and I want it to be a part of who I am, what is the fastest way for me to make that part of my life? Teach it. You want to know how you find freedom tonight? You know how you want to know how America has found freedom? Why America is still free today? Because it shares its freedom. Because it says, we're free and you can be free too. This is why America is still free today. If it did not fight for its freedom, we would not be free. And this statement, I found this really interesting as we were driving today. I was doing some research, and there was the statement that although America has been known for freedom, the question asked after that, over 80% of the people said America is known for freedom. Then they said, do you think America will be known for freedom in 10 years? And do you know it was over 40% difference in the answers? Like 42% of the people said, yeah, I'm not sure, I don't know. I wonder why that is. Because I don't think maybe we're fighting for it quite like we used to. You know what, let's just, let them handle their stuff. Let's let them handle their stuff. I'll tell you this, if you want to find freedom in your life, it's going to begin with us sharing what we have. Us teaching what we have. You know what we have as Americans? We have a Bill of Rights. We have, and it's not only what our nation was founded on, but obviously our nation was founded on this, but I believe you would say that every human has these rights. I mean, even, what is it, you're not European Union, but what do they call that? Everybody's a member of it except for two nations. Help me out. United Nations. They talk about how there's rights, human rights, and all these kind of things. But what is it that keeps that in front of people? What is it that keeps even evil at bay? It's when good men stand up. Maybe you've heard this said. Thomas Jefferson said this: the only thing it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. If you want to see bondage triumph in your life, don't do anything about what he said you have. If you want to start experiencing freedom, start teaching freedom. Start teaching what you have and start standing for this. And so, you know what? You might not even know what you have in this, or you know what you have in Christ. But you see somebody else that's hurting and that has something not quite as good as you think it should be. And you know that God came to give you life and to give it to you more abundantly. And you see somebody hurting, just as when America sees somebody hurting, if you would stand up, what happens is a nation rises and freedom rises within that nation. Well, if you would stand up and you would say, hey, you know what? My God supplies all of my needs according to his riches and glory. So here, let me pay for your meal. Well, but what if you don't have enough? Well, but maybe sometimes you just got to teach it. Sometimes you just got to show it so that you can see it, so that you can find it. Because sometimes there's so many cares that are all around us. There's so many thoughts that are all around us that we have to do more than think it. We got to do more than say it. We got to teach it. Because if we don't start teaching it, it's going to become lost. If we don't, again, Thomas Jefferson said this. He said, what evil, I have that in my notes. I'm going to read it exactly. I think it's a great statement. He says this: what is it that keeps men? All that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to remain silent. Isn't that interesting? You know what all that's necessary? All that's necessary for you to be bound? The only thing, all that's necessary, all Satan has to do to you to keep you in fear about tomorrow, all Satan has to do to keep you in fear about your health, about your job, all he has to do to keep you from coming to him about what you did last night is just to keep you silent. That's it. But if you want to know, if you want to see what the Lord has done for you, rise to the top and find it. We were in the ocean this weekend. We had never found a sand dollar ever. We've looked for, I think we've been to the beach like 7 or 8 times. Actually, we found one last year, put it on top of the sand bucket. And all of a sudden I was like, boys, where's that sand bucket? And they're like, oh, this one? And they had played with it in the water. And I'm like, that was my sand dollar. I was like, I'm really trying hard not to be really mad at you right now. Stupid kids. No. But this week, we went out, and we were just swimming out there, and all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, there's a sand dollar. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I found a sand dollar. Ah! Right? We never had found one before. And I'm like, Matthew, look. And all of a sudden, they found another one. Then another one. And then we started doing this. You know, we're in water about this deep. Hey, Matthew, there's one under my foot. We got about 30 of them. 30 sand dollars. And, you know, sometimes we have to do something to rise things to the top so that we can find them. And, you know, the best way for you and I to get to know something is to teach it. To start talking about it. Start talking about how Christ is your healer if you're going through something and somebody has a cold. How about, what if we just started exercising our faith by teaching it? And the best way for you to learn something, the best way for it to become part of you is to teach it. Because you know what? You can't teach something you don't know. So you end up finding out and going, is this right? Is this really what it says? Yep, that's right. No, so you got to do it like this. And this is what he said. And this is what you have. And all of a sudden, now this is what I have. And now all of a sudden, you found freedom. I believe more than anything else, this is what the Lord wants us to find. You know, I think this is a great example. How many of you have ever heard of the Dead Sea? Yeah? You know, we have, so the Dead Sea, how many of you know what's in the Dead Sea? Salt. But not just salt. Anybody know there's more than salt in there? It's filled with tons of minerals. Did you know that there's another sea that's in Israel as well? It's the sea that Jesus used to fish on. What is that? The Sea of Galilee. The only difference between these two seas, besides one being salty and one being fresh, is that the Sea of Galilee receives a whole lot of tributaries. But it has an outsource, and that's the Dead Sea. So all the good stuff that's sustaining life, think about this, all the stuff that's sustaining life in the Sea of Galilee and still today has commercial fishing on it. I mean, it had commercial fishing back when Jesus was there, all the way to now. It still has commercial fishing on this sea because it's fed by such rich, fertile tributaries. And it dumps its richness into the Dead Sea. But yet the Dead Sea is dead. How could this be? There's no outflow. There's no outflow for the Dead Sea. And I have soybeans planted right now. And they have this stuff, it's called sea mineral. I don't know if anybody's heard of sea mineral, but it's literally just salt and minerals extracted from the ocean water. It's looks like rock salt. I mean, you can eat it. What you do is you just mix it with water, and you can spray your whole field, and they say it'll double, maybe even triple hay production in 1 year. It's way cheaper than anything else, all found in an ocean. And I would say it's amazing what if somehow they undammed the Dead Sea with all those minerals, with all that nutrients, and they began to flow over a land. I wonder what that desert would look like. Well, I would ask you, I wonder how many people are desert and dry right now, but you have so much in you. There's so much good, rich deposits placed in you. But you feel like you're dying. You feel like you're drowning. You feel like you can't get out. If you saw the Dead Sea, you'd see that it's all sand, all this, all around. Everywhere you look, it seems like hopeless. It seems lost. But what if? What if we began to take some deposits out of the Dead Sea and we began to place it over on this land that it hasn't had any of the flow to it, and we put it on there and we'd see, Oh, green. It begins to come up. It begins to flower. Boom. All of a sudden, you're going over here and you're placing it here. And all of a sudden, you're here. And all of a sudden, you're seeing, man, oh, wow. And my God does this. And my God, He's this. And He can do this. And you're running all over. And all of a sudden, now, look what my God can do. Look, if He's doing it, wait a minute. He is doing it for me. Look at, because I'm about doing His business. He's taking care of my business. And all of a sudden, I found freedom. I found freedom. How? By fighting for others. That is how we find freedom. We found freedom in this nation by fighting for others. You'll find freedom in your life, just like Jesus found freedom for all of us. And He said, I'm going to fight for you. No, you can't come any closer. No, I'm going to stay right here. What if we would fight for others? What if we would say, no, enough's enough? What if we begin to smile and influence other people? You have the ability to influence people. What if we begin to sympathize with people? But not just, oh, poor, woe is you, but with an answer. What if? What if we begin to share? Not just what we know, but what we have. Yeah, but I can't because I don't have enough. Let me tell you, Jesus live on the inside of you? If Jesus is here, anything can happen. Jesus is here tonight. Jesus is here, and so anything can happen. What do you need to happen? Maybe start teaching it. Maybe start showing it. Maybe start passing out the loaves and the fishes. And I'm telling you, you'll find freedom. And you won't have to look so hard for it. All of a sudden, it'll be like that room key. Oh, here it is. It was in my pocket the whole time. I got it. Anybody ever do that? Right there the whole time. If we teach it, if we fight for somebody else, and I think, that's the key in Matthew 6. It's all about getting our eyes and looking away from ourselves and seeing, oh, wait a minute, He's taking care of that. He's taking care of those people. You know what? I need to take care of somebody else because I am His hands and His feet. And whatever I do to the least of these, He says, I've done it unto Him. And if I know that I'm doing it to Him, I know that He's going to be good to me. God always supplies my needs. I'm tired of serving voices. I'm tired of trying to do something to get something. Anybody does that just get old? When He said, I'm going to supply all of your needs according to my riches and glory. What do you want me to fight for today, Lord? What do you want to say to them? What if I would be intentional about influencing people? What if I would be intentional about fighting for people's freedom? Because they need to know the truth and it's the only thing that'll set them free. What if I'd be free? If you find yourself tonight fighting for freedom, can't find it, fight for somebody else's freedom, and they'll be found. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I was listening to a message. When you drive 12 hours, you got a lot of time on your hands. I listened to a message on the way down about a week ago. Changed my view of a whole lot of things. Jesus didn't come for the United States. Sometimes we think of Jesus as just, America's God. He died for the world. He died for the world. The whole world. He said, I'm going to die for all of these. And your and my mission statement if it does not include this big, we're too small. But you know what? You need to go this big. No, you don't need more money. No, you don't need more supplies. No, you don't need this. No, you don't need that. No, you don't need more of this. You just need Him. You need more of Him. Just get some more of Him, and you'll find the freedom. You'll find that peace. You'll find that joy that only in Him can be found. And wind and water and waves and big fish can't produce. Just Him. Knowing Him and making Him known. Do you know you have a purpose? This is this weekend's message. I'm going to just close with this. You have a purpose. I'm talking about encouraging one another. Before we leave tonight, I want to encourage you and tell you this. You have a purpose. And it's to know Him and to make Him known. I think that's probably one of the number one things that frustrates Christians and young people today. They know how to play basketball. They know what the goals are. You take away the goals, it's not that fun to dribble out in the yard with the basketball. Everybody wants to shoot. Everybody wants to score. You take away the goals on the soccer field, it's not that fun anymore. You take away the goals in your life, what are you out there for? I mean, why do we really want to get up? Why do I really want to go to work? So I can go on a vacation? It's going to end in a week anyway. No. There's goals. There's purpose. There's something you were created for. And it's to know Him and make Him known. Landon, you want to come on up and can we just bow our heads and close our eyes tonight? Thank you, Lord. Lord, we just say thank you. Thank you for your freedom. Lord, help us be intentional to fight for others. Lord, and let us be reminded tonight that you are the one that goes before us. You are the one that's fighting for us. So we lay down our struggle. We cast our care on you. And we look outward. We look outward and we look to rescue those that are hurting. Lord, we thank you for your freedom. We thank you for the freedom that Jesus produced for us. Lord, we ask you to make it so real to us tonight that we go home this evening, that we'd enjoy this holiday with a truer sense of freedom than we've ever had before, a sense of peace, knowing that it's not the nation that's fighting for us, it's not our family that's fighting for us, it's you. It's you. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.